we're riding through northern Guatemala, heading back into Mexico, through a little border that is not that well used. It's called El Cibo, and ADV Tracks asked us to talk a little bit about routing, taking a route or a track, something out of the ordinary, maybe something off-road, and how we look at it and how we figure out where we're going to go.
Yeah, because apparently people are interested about, it's clear enough how to plan a route with your GPS or a map. If you're riding, let's say, from the States to Argentina, right? You just stick most of the time on the Panamericana and off you go. That's easy. But how do you pick off-road routes, and how do you get information abroad? Whether they're doable or not, whether they're difficult or not, is it safe? Especially if it's Mexico, you really need to make sure that they're not going to get in trouble, and then so on and so forth.
So the problem is with a lot of areas that you go through, that they'll have a map, and a lot of countries' maps will have roads on them that they want and that actually don't even exist. So that's the thing you got to watch out for. So you got to know the difference between what's real and what's not. Speaking to locals is always a good thing, but the problem is a lot of locals, like this area right here, we're 16 kilometers from the Mexican border. I would be surprised if many of the people that live in this area have been more than maybe 50 kilometers from this little village in their whole life. So they don't have a lot of knowledge of their major surrounding area, maybe their minor surrounding area. So and their opinion of what is passable and not passable that's debatable as well, because you're on a bigger, more powerful bike, and they're on something like this in front of us, like a little 125, no ground clearance, and also they don't want you to go into an area and get hurt, because basically around here anyway, they're very kind, caring people. So you've got to do a little bit of trial and error. So an easy way I found, if you want to find off-road tracks and you know where you're going and you have a Wi-Fi connection, if you go onto Google Maps, and in the bottom right hand corner there's the little guy, the little yellow guy. If you drag him over the screen with your mouse and hold your finger down on your mouse, it'll light up all the roads, and all the roads will light up in blue. The ones that don't light up in blue are the ones that Google didn't go down, and generally Google doesn't go down dirt roads. So that's an easy way to find dirt roads that and you can actually see on the map and zoom in on Google Earth that they actually do go through. So that's one way of doing it.
And there's obviously always, Facebook groups and forums and stuff,
yeah.
But I would just watch out for the fact that, and people don't mean it, they don't mean it bad or anything, but a lot of people do tend to exaggerate a little bit. For example, there's a route in Bolivia, in southern Bolivia, from Uyuni, the famous salt flats, to Chile, San Pedro de Atacama in Chile, and I think it's about 400 kilometers. It's called the Lagunas route. I did it in a very small motorcycle in 2013, and I didn't find it particularly difficult at all. I mean, there's a lot of sand, there's no real road there, mostly to dream tracks, because there's just nothing there, right? But I've read accounts of that exact same route where people say, oh my god, this is the most difficult road ever ridden, or that was, something extreme, or something like that. So I would source a few different opinions before making a decision about a particular route, because something was extremely difficult or hard or for some people it might have been fairly easy to others, and obviously your own skill level, but just take everything with a little bit of salt, I guess.
And then you've got to remember there's a certain hero factor with riders that if they've ridden somewhere that you haven't ridden and they know you're not going to ride, they're going to make themselves out that they did something crazy and amazing, and you know, a still photo is something. You know, sometimes you can tell a road is really bad, but video of that same place, you'll really be able to see what the riding was like. So if you find an area that you think you want to ride, have a look and see if there's any video out there. Now, don't only just look for motorcycles, because there's a lot of 4x4 clubs in almost every country. So if you're going across Russia, for example, some of the best information you can get is from 4x4 clubs, because they go out in all conditions, all weathers. Same thing with, you know, like places in Mexico, in Central America, South America. There's 4x4s. So and they may be able to get somewhere that like the little bike in front of us just can't get to. For whatever reason, they may not have, this bike in front of us may not have the range to be able to go where you have the range to go. So you got to keep that in mind as well. You know, if it's somewhere might be too far, but for you it's not. I mean, we're riding bikes with 30-liter gas tanks that they've swelled out to about 35-37 liters, and we've got a crazy over 500 mile range, over 8 almost 900 kilometer range. So then you can also look at, like in the States they have topographical maps, so you can look at those and see if there's any trails, but they also have the same kind of thing in lots of different countries. The only thing I would say is if you head out somewhere remote in the middle of nowhere, the one thing to always remember when you ride is if you come to a gate that doesn't have a lock on it, always leave the gate in the same condition that you found it. If it was open, leave it open. If it was closed, leave it closed. So.
And also, you said fuel range. I can only speak about South America. I haven't ridden Asia or Africa yet. But in South America, especially if it's Bolivia or the Peruvian Andes, and you're riding some off-road track or the desert or whatever somewhere, right? In Bolivia or Peruvian Andes, and you can see that there's no gas stations on the map. It doesn't mean that there's no fuel, because most of the time there's still a lot of little indigenous villages, and there's going to be at least one car or more likely a few little motorcycles in there, and they will have fuel and they will sell it to you. The quality, of course, is going to be questionable, and you know, it's probably going to be sitting in some canister outside, but you can get fuel. It's not, you know, if you don't see a gas station there, it doesn't mean that you can't get fuel.
I mean, if you pick somewhere like Mongolia, for example, riding in Mongolia, you could literally be where you start the day. You're point A on the map and you want to go to point B. With a Garmin, you can change it to direct routing, so it literally draws a straight line. And because countries like Mongolia literally do not have any fences at all, you can take off and you can challenge yourself and ride in a straight line, see how far you can get. Just be wary of, like you said, just be wary of fuel range, because the little villages are few and far between. I would say realistically with Mongolia, if you are going to try and get very remote, have at least a 300 mile, about 500 kilometer range, just in case, because you may come across a gas station but they may not have deliveries, and because it's a lot of people still ride on horses, they don't have spare fuel. They use ox shit for yak shit for fuel, so they don't need gas, petroleum, diesel, oil, anything like that. So.
Well, but this is kind of where ADV tracks come in. So ADVtracks.online is a website for ADV tracks, which is both on and off-road tracks basically. And how it works is this: you sign up and you can search whatever country, continent, region, wherever you want, and you'll probably find other members who have been there already, and you can find GPX files and just download the route directly and use it. And the beautiful thing is that people add descriptions of the route, and they add photos, and some add videos, and fuel information, road conditions, everything. So you don't just get the GPX file, you get the whole thing, the whole package, and you can message them and you can ask them directly about, what was it like and stuff like that. And of course, it's all about sharing, so you need to upload your own GPX tracks as well, your own GPS files. Because it's community based, right? So if you're downloading something, please upload something as well. But the website is completely free. Yeah, they're still developing it, obviously, but it's just a very useful tool to plan routes, especially again if you're riding abroad and you want to go off-road, but you're not sure where to start. So www.advtracks.online. Go check it out.
Connected.